breaking news coming out of the Middle East. You can see some live photos there of Tel Aviv, where you see a big smoke plume wafting off in the distance behind the cityscape, reportedly from Iranian missiles. So I want to bring in CBS News Middle East reporter Courtney Kealy. She is back here in Studio 57. Courtney, get us up to speed. What's going on, and also what are the people in Israel going through right now?
Well, where they're going is to shelters. They've been ordered to go into shelters. Their air sirens are ringing across the country right now. We're hearing from the IDF, the Israeli Defense Forces, are confirming that Iran has shot ballistic missiles into Israel. Now, the question is there defensive systems? Is there Patriot a battery pack missile defense system and others in place? Yes, they would be. Will they be shooting out of the sky? Yes, they will be. Will they be doing it with the help of other countries nearby covertly? Yes, we've seen that in play in the past under the Biden administration. So Israel knows what to do, especially in a situation like this, to seek shelter and seek it quickly. It's Shabbat. It's Friday night there, and it's dark. So people will be hustling into their shelters, sheltering in place. But these ballistic missiles, as we talk, are firing and launched and being shot down. The question is, will some get through? That is the biggest worry.
Yeah, and you mentioned Shabbat, obviously a significant day for people of Jewish faith. Is that any coincidence? And we may have to dip into our special report with CBS News. So quickly, is that any coincidence in your expertise?
No, it happens. It does happen, and often on holidays and Shabbat there have been wars like Yom Kippur. So this isn't any significance. It just destroys any peace that the Israelis thought they might have had this evening. And I would expect that they know what it's like to be in the defensive position and have been before, so that civilians wouldn't be surprised that they're rushing into shelters. They probably were ready to do this. It's a country on high alert. 100 ballistic missiles, according to the Israeli Defense Forces, have already been fired.
And talk to me a little bit about those defense forces protections for the people in Israel. They are able to shoot down the vast majority of missiles that are lobbed their way, but that isn't a perfect system, right?
No, and the amount of ballistic missiles that Iran has is the biggest question. How much are they going to be able to launch while they're being attacked right now by Israel? They're under bombardment throughout Iran right now, including the private residence of Khamenei. That's unconfirmed, but that's what I'm hearing through Iranian sources. So we're hearing that in Isfahan, that people are in the streets shouting death to Khamenei. This is ongoing. This is a kinetic, high alert for everybody. The Israelis have been going through everything in terms of their own government, whether they're with them, the hostage crisis, the war in Gaza, the northern front with Hezbollah that decimated both sides. So this is a country at war since October 7th, but this is yet another moment of terror and trauma for Israelis and also for Iranians.
Speaking of Iranians, how significant were these strikes in Iran earlier, with densely populated areas, right? And this is a society where there is a lot of technological development. This is very much a developed country where people were certainly put into harm's way in those attacks as well, right?
Sophisticated and educated is the Iranian population, and also good on social media, good getting those images out. But we did hear from Khamenei's social media himself confirming the martyrdom quote, as he put it, of three top leaderships, of Iranian scientists. Iranian nuclear facilities have been hit. Some of those depots have been hit. The second in command to Khamenei was hit, but already replaced. Al-Manar, Hezbollah TV in Lebanon, is saying that it's the U.S. that's going to experience shame and sorrow from being allied with Israel. So we also have to talk about the U.S. is considered to be part and parcel of these Israeli strikes, whether President Trump was okay with it or not. It's now after the fact. It's ongoing. The Israeli military is saying it could continue for up to 14 days or more. So this is a beginning. This is sort of the just vast bombardment. And it took from last night until this afternoon for Iran to respond. They might have been scrambling for that. But they will be continuing to scramble because I think their oil refinery, again, unconfirmed, but black smoke billowing out of that largest oil refinery. And these are people that have been living under a repressive regime for decades. These are people that want that regime gone, but they don't want war either.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I've been to Iran as a journalist, spoken to the people there. You're certainly echoing what the sentiment has long been for some time. You know, I just want to take a step back from the current situation that we're seeing play out right there. And you can actually see there's, I believe, more smoke rising from those images of Tel Aviv, but that actually is from moments ago. So that is probably what we were viewing on the BBC. But this all is happening to the backdrop of nuclear negotiations. Iran believed to be just days, maybe weeks away from that critical moment where they could enrich uranium to ultimately make a nuclear warhead. Where do those talks stand? How does this flare-up impact that?
Well, Khamenei was, I was told by experts that he would rather go to war than agree to no uranium enrichment. There had been a way to potentially square that circle, put in a framework where Iran promised to not enrich uranium up to the level of the ability to create nuclear warheads, that they would have, you know, you can downgrade it, you can dilute the uranium and bring it back off that nuclear level into something less. And they could have done it on site. They could do many things. Somebody who was an expert in the room with the foreign minister who's been in all these talks, he told me that the foreign minister, previous talks, said, why would we want to take away the enrichment of uranium? Our scientists work so hard. So, you know, this sort of, it's all very cloak and dagger. President Trump really wanted a deal, but today he's reacting, you know, and kind of knowing that he had no choice. Whether he had a choice, whether he was okay with it or not, he did want those Oman talks to go on. He's still talking about talks continuing, but I really don't see any way through that the Iranians would save face or agree to any negotiations right now when they're basically in a war situation.
Courtney Kealy helping us cover this breaking news. Good to see you back on set. Thank you for your insight, your expertise. We always appreciate it. And now I want to turn over to Robert Berger. We have him, I believe. Sir, give us your take on what is happening right now, what we're seeing on these images playing out in the Middle East.
Well, basically, Israel is under missile attack from Iran. That's according to the Israeli military. There are reports on Israeli media that 5 to 7 areas have been hit by missiles. There aren't reports of major casualties or anything like that right now. But also another salvo of missiles is said to be headed toward Israel. So basically, everybody bracing. People are going to their bomb shelters. Nobody's on the streets. And that smoke that you see there in the picture is apparently something that fell in the Tel Aviv area. Not clear totally if it's shrapnel or missiles, but according to reports on TV, it may actually be some missiles that got through Israel's defense shield.